just had some drama. Last night, I was putting away some dishes from Christmas dinner. Today's the 28th. It's gonna be a while till this video comes out. Anyways, some dishes, they had been in the fridge, had leftovers on them. I went to put this big heavy plate, similar to this platter. I was putting it up here on this shelf, and the shelf it was on, this shelf, fell down. The peg came loose. I'm like, well, that's weird. And then I looked in the shelf above it, which would be this shelf right here. The edge of the shelf was like right there. And I'm like, what? So this entire top, which has the martini glasses and like rock glasses, very heavy, nice things up there, was just barely on that edge right there. And I looked, this entire cabinet was falling off of the wall. This entire edge was peeling from the wall. The top frame up here, right up there, that was bent. I'm glad that I had noticed that, because if I hadn't, it could have been very bad. Anyways, glued it back together, put some brackets in there, talked to the contractor who like really knows about this thing, and he said, yeah, just do that and it'll be fine. It's been a day and it seems sturdy. I'm kind of afraid to put the dishes back in. Anyways, hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. So wait, hope you're doing well. I'm great. Yes, there's still Christmas stuff up because it's only been 3 days since Christmas for me. Everybody's doing well. I'm great. Turbo's got a boo-boo. I'm picking up literally seconds from where I left off last week. He's going to go to the vet. I think he's fine. It's just, he hurt his foot, probably just a little twist or something. And I have some things I'd like to get done in the grow space, probably some repots, some tidying, and then probably some stuff outdoors too. We're supposed to have a few days in the forecast coming up where it looks like it's going to be pretty nice outside. Okay, what is he barking at? What is this door? I cannot barely see that in person. Camera comes in useful sometimes for those things. What you barking at, buddy? Huh? You just causing trouble? Okay. Sister's dog. He's here for a while, and it's been a lot of fun having him. He's so funny. The dog has so much personality and character. I need to check the soil temperatures in some of these containers over here, because just a few minutes ago, literally right where I left off in last week's video, I put this foil down. Foil insulative barrier, thermal barrier, I don't know what the technical term for it is. That's what it's, radiant barrier, maybe? Yeah, well, I did that because, the ground's cold-ish. It's not that cold, but concrete, sucks the warmth out of everything. And I wanted to get a temperature reading on the soil, 61, 60, okay, I'm going to say it was 60 on there. And I just wanted to get a read on this, see if it's going to make a difference. 59, 60.1, 59. This one's closer to the plastic. I've got a 59 for that one. Ooh, this is much more moist. But that's going to read colder, and it's up against the plastic. So, let's see there. 50 degrees. Pull that forward. So this is going to be the one to pay attention to. I just want to see if this made a difference. It should make a difference. Ideally, I want these pots, the roots of these plants, to be the same temperature as the air in here, which is about 66, 70 right now. But that's not going to happen as long as they're sitting on that cold ground, or if they're up against the plastic. So that one's close to the plastic. I'm going to see how much of a difference that's going to make with the soil temperature if I need to put a barrier behind this, between the plants and that sidewall, or if just lifting them up is going to be enough. So I'm going to check back on that in just, I don't know, a few hours, probably, and see if the soil warms up. I may as well check the rest. Get back here, check on the mint. That's pretty moist too. Yeah, let's go more in here towards the middle. Yeah, okay, so the containers have more moisture in them. They are much colder. And they were also pressed against the plastic too. 55, okay, alright, well. Good news is the tropicals, or tropical-esque plants, are warmer, so that's good. But I need to watch out for these other two. I'm going to check them all again, but I mostly want to see if it's going to make a difference with these ones that have some moisture in their pots. Okay, that's all. Just want to bring y'all up to speed. I should have probably done this at the end of last week's video when I did all this, but that video was getting really long. I feel like it was getting very redundant because there just wasn't a lot to do. There were some things popping up that I could have done, but it was coming towards the end of the video, and I like to get that stuff done more in the beginnings. So here we are. I thought better spread out the monotony from week to week instead of just cram it all into one video. There we go. Okay. Oh, I need my scissors too. I'm going to grab those while I'm out here. I need to cut back the amaryllis that are inside and on the counters. They're getting kind of stringy. Was that an exciting shot? Probably not. I'm sure it wasn't worth it. And mold pump's looking good. Got down to 14 last night. Had I known it was going to down to 14, I probably would have done more to protect it, but here we are. Seems okay. It can take a while before that sort of damage shows on them. Cold damage, that is. But I think it'll be okay. Just need to keep an eye on it. Oh! Pollen and dust explosion from that guy. Now bring this down nice and low without putting too much pressure on the other stem, the other bud that's coming up right there. And it's, you know, give it a cut. Oh, good. That's been driving me crazy. Yeah, there will be seeds in here. Could try and hold on to those and do something with them, I suppose. They're just plain white amaryllis. They had nice growth on them, but the flowers were very short-lived, even for an amaryllis, so I'm not all that inclined to hold on to any seed from these. Then I didn't let the seed pods dry out either, so I think that these are actually probably far enough along. I bet there's some stuff in there. Try and do this with one hand. They pop open kind of like a pepper. Yeah. Yeah, there's probably are some seeds in there. Whole bunch actually, but they need to be dried. I'm not doing all that. Juice isn't worth the squeeze. And why are you so skittish, kitten? And I think I would have needed to leave that on the plant for another week or so. And then this one right here, yeah. Look at that, much smaller. Couldn't do anything with that one. I prefer to get these things off of the plants a little bit sooner than this before I start to see any swelling back in here. Once you start to see swelling in there, that means the plant's putting energy into trying to develop those seeds, and I would rather just go ahead and produce the flowers. There's finally some movement and some action over here on these. You know what, I should turn these off. Because I know for a lot of you, like, we're well into January and don't want to hear the Christmas stuff. It's enough that you have to look at it right now. For me, I keep it going for a while, but I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. These amaryllis from Color Blends have been so freaking slow. I'm like blaming Color Blends for that. I really don't know if I've ever had amaryllis take quite this long to get going before, though. But finally some movement, so that's good. And I think they'll be really happy, actually. Maybe by the end of this video, I don't know, I'm going to pull the stuff out of the window and they'll get some more light. I'll get them up against that window. Poor Turbo. Poor Sleepy Turbo. Yeah, the baby. Went to the vet. They did an x-ray, didn't see anything wrong with his foot, so he probably just has a boo-boo. Got him some anti-inflammatories to help with the pain. They did an x-ray on his hip just because they had him on the table, and he's got hip dysplasia. Oh, poor Turbo's hips. He'll be okay. Caught on to it early, so weight loss and treatment should be fine. Instead of doing plant things and gardening things, I've just been hanging out here with the dog because I feel bad for him. They give us so much. Right, Turbo? You give us so much. If you feel better just hanging out, then I'll go ahead and hang out with you. Could be worse. Got the fireplace over there. Fire right there. Not so bad. Pretty dang cozy over here. Snugged up by the fire with the dogs by the tree. I just wish he was feeling better, but he's moving around a lot better. Tomorrow he'll probably be doing even better. Maybe it'll be warm enough to take him outside and run around for a bit, or walk around gently for a bit and get some work done. Really? Really? Might have to take another animal to the vet? Get off the stove. What are you doing? Okay, Pumpkin. That's not very nice. It's some pumpkin time. Hope you enjoy some time with the floof. Turbo's good. It's the next morning. He's acting much, much better, putting a lot more weight on his feet. Just be a few days of rest. That's all. Last night he was super sad and mopey. Like I said before, dogs feel not just pain, but they take on a sense of shame and guilt when they're ill. And that's what he was doing. He was like, I'm so sorry I don't feel well. And so I just spent as much time as I could with him yesterday, just snuggling him. That's all I want to do is snuggle. For example, I came up here and cleaned the bathroom about 2.5 hours ago, and he was like, I'm gonna hang out with you. He's not budging. Hey, go outdoors. You want to come outside? Let's go outside. Come on, baby. Let's go outdoors. You can do it. There you go. One's got their balance back, almost. Yeah, but petting's fun, isn't it? Maybe don't lay on the hard marble floor. That might help you. Still has interest in his fish. Well, he was looking at him just a second. All the Christmas things fell over. Just fine. I'm gonna pull those out tonight. well, probably tonight or tomorrow. This guy's been doing a great job at eating that duckweed. I mentioned maybe 2 weeks ago that I had let that goldfish, it's a Shabunkin goldfish. I meant to think that's a lot of glare. A little bit of algae. Yeah, I wouldn't normally cohabitate the goldfish in the tropicals, but these guys are in here just doing a great job taking care of the duckweed. I'm going to give it a few more weeks, because I've learned on many, many occasions, like, oh, I got all the duckweed, and then all of a sudden just boom, it's back, and it's everywhere. You checking on your turbo kitten? That's so sweet of you. By checking on, does that mean are you going to terrorize? You got to get his tail, or a little piece of lint. Pumpkin left a giant just shed pile on this rug yesterday. I've never seen her do that. Like, there's an outline from here to there of just pumpkin hair. Hey, at least it's all coming out at once and not all over the place. Yeah, there's the update on the duckweed nobody asked for. Downside to getting rid of all the duckweed is I'm having to scrub the algae more often because there's more nutrients in there. The duckweed isn't sucking all that stuff out, but it's also going to allow the plants that I want to be in here to start growing again, and those will take care of that over time. Everything will balance out. Do you want to go outside? Maybe? No? Oh, poor Turbo. Poor baby. It's so hard to be a turbo that can't turbo. Such a good boy. See him side-eyeing. He's like, oh, there's fish over there. I'm getting pets and there's fish. What do I do? Oh, how embarrassing. A fall decoration still hanging out in there. I didn't even realize that. Because, you know, wouldn't want this to not look proper, would we? Excuse me, kitten. Curious about it. Is he going to go down the stairs like a freak? Yep. Yes, he sure is. And now that he's up and moving, you're acting like nothing's even wrong. That's great. Do you want to go outdoors and go potty? You probably do, buddy. Buddy always wants to go outdoors. I would... Oh, wow. There's one heck of a reflection. Fine. I have a few little things to do. I want to cut back some of those smaller amaryllis and bump them up to a slightly larger container. So I keep getting distracted because I'm trying to keep an eye on his foot. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with it. He's just got a boo-boo. It's going to get better. Let these guys out. I thought you said you wanted out. Okay, all right, Turbo. How's this guy looking? Looks pretty good. 14 degrees is pretty cold because it's exposed, and it was so incredibly windy 2 nights ago. It had a night of like 15 and then a night of 14, and it was extremely blustery. That's not great because it's in a pot and it's open and exposed. In the ground, I wouldn't worry about it as much, but well, I didn't know it's going to get that cold. Forecast said 19 and then said 21 and then said it was 15 and 14. I got those lights on there that keep it warm. Hopefully the pot's... Oh yeah, I can feel a difference between my forearm and my hand. And I said it's somewhat sheltered, but typically I should have this heat cable wrapped around it. It's going to be nice enough the next several days. I don't think I need to worry about that. I'll use those later on something else. I probably won't film that. I've got some like bramble to cut back, some be boring stuff. Oh, the wind busted one of my balls. One of my Christmas balls. I bet I can probably glue that back together. The thing is, the weight of all these other ones are supposed to hang, or is supposed to hang from this one. So that's got to be a really steady connection there. Shoot. Well, I don't know, I'll figure something out. Get it going before next year. Or just forget about it and deal with that problem next year. That might be what I do too. Until Buddy's been over here. He loves hanging around in the furniture. This guy, well, it's too warm for ice, so that's confusing. This kept running yesterday. Huh. I don't know. I have a switch on the pump, so I've been able to just switch it off. And I think that's the way to go. Just don't keep it full so it doesn't crack. Hopefully that works. Oh, I need to cut back that passion vine. Where does it even start? How did you get up there? Why am I doing that? That's something that could totally wait until a few days from now when it's 50 degrees out. It's still freaking cold. Oh, did I show you all what I did with one of my pussy willows to try and overwinter it? I just mounded a whole bunch of leaves up around it, and hopefully it should do the trick, right? Hopefully it will. These things are so dang cold hardy. Should be okay, but it's in a pot, so you just never know. That got some nice color back there on the Sgt. Pepper dogwood. This is only its first... Yeah, this is its first winter, right? I think I planted that very early last year. Pretty sure. And it did a good amount of growing considering it doesn't get a ton of light over here. Things are looking nice. Look at the Hinoki cypress. Isn't that just beautiful? Hey, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, this guy right here, I think... it's just about to a size where I could start limbing it up just a little bit down below. Just a few of these branches could probably go like this one right here, this one, everything from about this, I would leave this point, but the ones that are down below that, and open things up down there and make it a lot easier to get mulch and things in there that would help benefit the plant. This guy's old. It's a good, well, I don't know, it got planted about 18 years ago, I think. Actually, maybe longer than that. I don't remember. Well, it couldn't have been longer than that. Whatever. It was a little guy, and it just has a great shape. It gets this, you know, brown cast and stuff, especially on years when we've had a lot of drought. That's no big deal. Usually by the spring, the winds have taken care of that, but you can also come in and you just shake it out with your hands. Greens everything up. I don't worry too much about doing that this time of year because really that just adds some protection. But they're pretty sturdy. They don't need a lot of protections. The shape on these, when these get larger. This isn't going to get too much bigger here. This is a dwarf, so this one shouldn't get any bigger than about, I'd say, well, 10 to 12 feet under ideal conditions, but I would be surprised if this gets taller than 12. I was about to say, under ideal conditions, they could go bigger than that, but the true dwarf, Hinoki, Chamaecyparis, they should stay on the smaller side. And we're pretty hot, so that tends to dwarf them down. It just has such a beautiful shape to it. I would like to come in here next year and probably regrade and reshape this garden bed here and fill it in with a really nice cool tone gravel and pop some very small evergreens, probably some rhodeos, not rhodeos, those are the tropicals. Rhodeos, which is kind of like a Japanese hosta. That's what everybody calls them. I don't see the resemblance, but similar as far as sturdiness goes, and they're fairly evergreen, very long-lived, but very slow to grow. Pop some of those in there. Keep it nice and open and simple looking. I think that'd be really pretty. What is this? What did I plant here? I cannot remember. There was a ginger over here that did not come back from its first winter. That does not look like a ginger. It was just too dry over here. Planting things under the maple tree has turned out to be quite challenging. Oh, look at that. The geranium looking good. I just wrote geranium. I couldn't be bothered to put what kind, huh? Sarcocapa. So this got planted up last spring, same as that geranium, and it had a lot of dieback on it. A whole bunch. I wasn't sure how it was going to do. So like I said, planting things underneath the maple tree has been tricky, right? It's just kind of throwing plants in the area and seeing what sticks. That maple just sucks up all of the moisture in the ground. But this guy, look, it's even got its little spring buds on it. Were you doing a mini garden tour? Apparently that's what's happening. So yeah, essentially what I've been doing over here is I'm just planting things, and whatever it does well, maybe I'll get multiples of those. See down here, I had a geranium planted that did not fare so well. I think that this was that really pretty blue one. Can't remember its name, but yep, that didn't work out very well. I think that there's a root that comes through this area that just sucks the moisture right out of the ground, because it's really this area that's the hardest place to get things going. These hostas down here, I mean, they got taken over by wild morning glory, but they never really did well. The rabbits ate them down and then they never came back up. But maybe next year. They had a little bit of green this fall, so we'll get to see what happens with those. Hopefully they develop some roots and they'll put something up. A little bit of sweet woodruff made it over here, so that's good. This area doesn't get much irrigation, so again, that was just being hopeful when I tossed that over here. That stuff, I bet that would do well on this side, although I'm pretty sure I planted on this side and I don't see any of it. I stepped in dog poop. Oh, the Florida Sunshine Elysium? Yeah. Zone 6? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, but hey, maybe some people have good luck with them in Zone 6, but it's not even January yet. And look at it. Suffered a lot of cold damage. And technically, we're Zone 7 now. We don't drop below 0 that often, but it does happen, so I don't really understand why we're Zone 7. Do you feel better now? You want to go inside? No, you pooped and I stepped in it? Come on, let's go. I knew it was a risk when I stepped in that pile of leaves because he's decided that's where he wants to go. Okay, now go to the grow space, warm up. We've got to wait for Buddy to come inside. And then maybe repot some amaryllis, poke around with some plants, and just, you know, go inside and take care of some stuff. Do I really not have any like 6-inch pots? I have this one that's inside of here, and I could use that but that's it. There should be more than that. Where's the rest of my stuff? I have these big 10-inch containers, and I have all these pots that those drift roses were in. That's way too big for those poinsettias. Even this is, I mean, that's a bit extreme. I'll show you what we're working with over here. These little guys, which have started to defoliate. No big deal, because they're going to get a big cut back here pretty soon. Anyways, when I repot them. But see, like this size right here, I don't think I would want to go any larger than that. And that's a bit much of a step up. I think it would be okay, though. But any bigger than that is too big. And I only have one of these. I have some orchid pots, which they would actually probably be fine in, but I don't want to use those on my poinsettias. They're not, you know, they're not all that inexpensive, right? So I would rather just, you know, use something cheap and plastic for these. I was about to say let's just run to the store, but they don't have cheap pots at the store. Do you guys want some light? That might help. Might help if there's some brighter light over here. No, even terracotta pots, I mean, they start at like $5 to $7. Those aren't that cheap anymore. Huh. Uh-oh. I did too good of a job cleaning out my pots this year. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, well, we will move on, and I'll do a separate video whenever I can get around to making this happen. Oh, and I'll talk more when I do that video about what's going on with the foliage and how I do things. I pretty much do this every single year. I let them take some drought stress. That's natural for them this time of year. Once I see that the colorful leaves up top are starting to shrivel, and then I just let them do their thing. They drop their leaves, and you can either just let them stay dormant for a few months until spring, or do what I do, which is I just bump them into a larger pot, and then I just don't really water it very much, and then resume watering in the springtime, and boom, you have a really nice, beautiful plant. To make for a really short video. There's more to it than that. Well, I have a philodendron over here. It's a, what are those, pink galaxy princess ones. Here's a philodendron. Need to repot this guy. So this is a pink galaxy. It's not the most colorful of the pink galaxies, but it also hasn't been getting a lot of light. I think when I repot this and get it under the grow lights, it should color up very nicely. I don't know if do I even need to repot this, or does it just need to get onto a more sturdy stake? The stake that's in here is pretty much useless. I don't know. That's the thing, is with these aeroids, they don't necessarily need a lot of root space, depending on the aeroids. Some things like monsteras and the thematophyllums, you give them a good sized pot and you usually get a good sized growth out of that. But with these guys, I don't really think that's the case. And it can be tricky too with these supports, because there's nothing to anchor them to. The soil blend is so loose. Although I have been having better luck deviating from the standard aeroid mixes. There's just a piece of beautiful glass in there. Look at that. So shiny. From the fountain outside. That's where that belongs. Things just dry out too fast for me during the wintertime in the standard aeroid mixes, so I've been hefting them up with more organic materials, and it's been fine. That's what I used to do back in the day, and then the aeroid craze took over, and everybody started talking about these different aeroid blends, and I was like, all right, well, let me try those aeroid blends. And my plants do better when I just do things the way that I used to do them. Not saying that's what you should do too, just that's how I have better luck with the way I garden, with my climate in general. Let's see here. That's a good hefty root ball on that, so I could bump it up into a larger container. That's nice and solid in there. You can see that's a sandy, chunky blend. It does have potting mix in it. Well, I'm kind of in the same predicament here. I gotta find another pot for it. Something I had thought about, which is the only reason I really haven't repotted this yet, was putting it in the same container that my Monstera Thai Constellation's in, which you can barely see. There's part of the stem right there. It's all the way up there now. It's gotten very big. And letting this grow up the stem, I'm like, that might look kind of cool. This wouldn't be the time of year for that. So, I don't know, maybe I should just focus on getting this onto a better support. Do I have a better support? I'm sorry, y'all. I did not come prepared today, or for the last, 2 or 3 videos. It's just that time of year where we're just getting by, taking care of the plants, and not really getting into the nitty-gritty activities, you know? Okay, I found a stick that's not ideal, but it'll do. I brought my glue gun over because I was thinking, well, you know what? I can just put this back in here and glue a portion of this to the side of that pot, and that's going to hold it more sturdy. but this is not one of those poles where you can add to the top of it. Oh, wait. Is it? Do I just have it upside down? Does this come out? Hold on, you guys. I think that I was maybe completely wrong about that. It's only the days when you trim your fingernails that you got to deal with this kind of junk, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to come out. It will. It will. I kind of got what little nub of fingernail I have left under there. There we go. Oh, it is the kind I can add to the top with. All right. Well, that's good. That changes things. I can just add to the top. I really like the twisty, curvy ones. Have you seen those? Or the ones that have actual moss on them. Why are you leaking? I was just bragging to you. Bragging about this glue gun to a friend of mine about how I love it because it doesn't drip all over the place. Making me a liar. It is a very nice glue gun, though. I highly recommend it. If you have any of the Ryobi batteries already, I think this is like $40. And it heats up really fast. It doesn't normally drip. It's just, apparently it's having a day. I'm going to put a lot of glue on here so that it can really get this to actually stick to the side of the container. And the nice amount of hot glue, too, up against the smooth surfaces. You can usually go ahead and pull that off if you decide that it's not something you want to be using. So if I order a different moss support, then I can just snap this off. Need to get going with this, though, because, well, that glue's going to start to dry before I even get into the container. I know it's a lot of glue, but there's a good amount of dirt in that pot that this thing's got to squeeze through. So I really want to make sure I have a ton of glue on this thing so that it'll really stick to the side of that pot. I don't want to have to do this multiple times. Okay, here we go. Put that down. Create a well so I can get that down in here. Get down as far as it'll go. Push that to the side. Oh, it's not going to be straight. It's going to be a little bit angled. Well, okay. That's alright. That's what happens because the pot's curved, right? So, not going to be able to get straight growth or a straight pull when the bottom of the pot sticks out from there. This is just temporary, though. Like I said, I was thinking that it would be fun. I don't know if I'll remember to do it. I always forget to do it, but I do think it would be fun to pot it up with the Thai Constellation over there. I have a couple aeroids that I've just dropped into that container, and it's been pretty neat. I'll have to show you guys when we move that outside, give you a better look at some of just the little fun things that are growing along underneath it, because those aerial roots come over the little aeroids that I put underneath it, and it's like they're just developing their own little forest inside the pot. It's pretty neat. Alright, I'm just going to hold this probably for a couple minutes, because that was a lot of glue that I have to wait to set up, and then just tie that guy back up. Alright, that took a minute, and you know, you'll see in a moment. It's generally just not a good idea to allow me near a glue gun when there are small things around that I could glue to something. So, you know, something happened, and I think it's lovely. Some of y'all may not agree with that. This is fine. It's not ideal, but the plant's upright, so I can now water it more easily. And I had that other pole somewhere. I don't think I need to do this, but I could always just pop this down in there and tie this back to that for right now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to order another piece of pole to go onto there, another 12-inch section to snap on there. I would also like to give this a top dressing. I have some soil over here. I'm going to take a big scoop of it. It's a fairly chunky blend. It does have some compost in it. Here you go. You want to see what I'm talking about? There it is. Right there. It's pretty good. And I think that this would be nice for the plant to just go ahead and get something fresh in there. That's the one thing about these chunkier blends that the plant needs. They do need a chunky blend. They want some air around their roots. But over time, when you water some of the things that help hold in the moisture, which in this case is either peat or coconut, that flushes out over time. So this is going to add some of that back in. There's a little bit of compost in here. Some of the, land and sea, which is because this is a mix I had mixed up to repot some plants with, and it breathes well. So I think that should be fine for that. Oh, wow, hey, look at that. It's like you're right here with me. So I never filmed the other direction because everything behind me just looks like garbage, and if I were to sit right here, there would be nowhere to put the camera. There's not enough space. Well, that was fun. How many of y'all were focused on that? Anybody? Nobody? Hello? Hi. How y'all doing? I'm sorry. The ADD is extreme today. So, that's done. And, I think looking much better. What do you think? Is it nice? Do we love it? It's just the epitome of what we want for such a nice, classy plant, right? Is, you know, just a school of fish that don't look like fish at all. Yeah, that's not the point. Plant looks good. I will get up into another piece here soon enough. And if you're wondering why I don't just cut this, because these propagate so easily. I just have better luck with that in the springtime. So I like to just do any props with the aeroids in the spring when I can just cut them, let them be outside where it's nice and moist and there's rain and everything to help get them rooted. They do so much better. My main focus with this was getting it onto a support that's not going to fall over, and then getting another support in here so that that growth that's up here, it's curving, we can start to train that back into the right direction and get it pulled up, get it going straight, and then when spring comes around, chop it and move it down, and maybe take the stem piece that's right here and plant that under the monstera. I think that might work out well. Oh no, was it too much? Too much? It's holding on. Look at that meniscus. Look at that. Is it gonna go over? I don't know. I'm giving this a really good soak, which isn't something I do with philodendrons all that often. It's one of the reasons I like philodendrons so much, is because they can go more on the dry side than, say, like an anthurium, right? They like things much more moist. But this one's been dry for quite a while, because I had it sitting over here waiting for that repot, and it just kept getting pushed to the side and pushed to the side while I was working on other things. And I put that fresh soil blend in there, and this water has a tinge of fertilizer in it. So I want to give it, I don't know, probably 30 minutes to soak some of that up. And then, well, and then that's it. This is taken care of. Oh, and if you were wondering, I have these because I ordered a pack of these fish that you put in there for the dog for Christmas. I talked about that either in last week's video or the beginning of this one. I don't know. It's all a blur. But I didn't think that it needed to have all of the fish that came in that pack in there. I think that would have been too much. So I had a little pile sitting here and a glue gun. And now this is what happened. All right, well, while that soaks, I need to walk around and do some spraying. Is this my super soap? Yes, the super soap. I love this stuff. For the mealybugs, this has actually been working. For the first time in a very long time, a spray that's actually doing something where I don't have to spray the mealybugs down with isopropyl alcohol first, then hit them with a neem or a soap or, you know, Imidac will pro it if it comes to that. But what this is doing, because it's so sticky, you can see up here, I sprayed those a few days ago, and it browned them out, and it killed them, because it was able to sit on there. And this is the potassium, right? This is the potassium and spinosad. Yeah, potassium, salts, and fatty acids. So that is going to help dissolve that waxy coating the mealybugs have. Breaks it down, and then the spinosad can get down to them. And it seems to be working. The only problem is, you know, it's a contact spray, so, well, I can't just, you know, spray it and hope it works. It's, if you see something, then you spray it. I need to check on these guys, although if these get sprayed, that should really be done outside. You finally start cruising right when I start recording, huh? Good morning. How you do? Oh, you look miserable. That's not fair. You're doing so well. Not a limp or anything. Just because he wants outside. It's early morning. Dogs are up. Curious to see the temperatures out inside the greenhouse, and the dogs need to go out. It's time for my morning stroll where I look at nothing because it's winter and everything just looks brown, decrepit, and dead. Still do it anyways. You know how it goes, gardeners, right? If you can get out, you got to get out and see all the things, right? I think I done a 32 last night, or no, I think it was like 29. Whatever, same difference. That looks okay. Have that pump turned down to a very, very, very slow trickle, and have the little bird bath heater thingy in it. And it is 67 in here right now. Perfectly acceptable temperature. Leave that just the right height for a dog to bust through it. What am I talking? Turbo's huge. That's not, there we go. That's turbo size. Last night I came in here and I popped one of the soil thermometers in here, and that's saying 63-ish, and then, was it the olive? Yeah, the olive. That's the one we checked on last night. Get this guy popped open here. Hey, baby, how you doing? Yeah, you gonna check on your fish? I put too many plants in there. You can't see them anymore. I'm sorry. Poor Turbo. Can't even see his friends. 64. Big improvement. Huge improvement. Okay, 62.1. This is dry. 62. 64. 59 to 60, somewhere in there. Alright, the Pindu. 58, that one's pressed against the plastic, which is good. That's some of the stuff I was trying to figure out. What difference does it make if they're still pressed against the plastic in 59? Alright, so that's pretty good. I think that all that means is I just need to make sure they aren't pressed directly against the plastic, which, I mean, you know, duh. And they are definitely warmer by having them up on top of the foil. Which, I mean, we all kind of knew that was going to happen, right? You get them off the cold ground, they're going to be warmer. Little bit of movement from the bulbs. Not a lot, but there's something going on there. Look at how wonderfully these strawberries have rebounded from getting their cut back. Okay, they could use some more cutting back, but look, it's only been, oh, a week, just over a week. Tons of new growth and flowers. That is fast. Really, really fast. I figured, you know, maybe within a couple weeks they'd be like, oh, this is nice, getting it cut back and everything, but no. Seriously, I think it's been just over a week probably. Snapdragon, looking good. I should probably go ahead and cut this back some more. Maybe, I don't know. I can't get much further back from it because I got palm tree jabbing into my head behind me. Lots of open spaces in here. It's a strawberry that made its way down here. Probably climbed up from up top, attached itself down here. How many vacancies do I have in this row? Quite a lot. Huh. I think that it would be nice if I could condense this down, right? Because I can't keep the watering thing up there very well with the support pole right here. So I had just one level less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think you're only supposed to have 5 on these anyways. I have 6 piled up here. So I could take these 3. Is it really 3? I'm not all that concerned about that wild strawberry there that popped up. Not a wild strawberry, but the random, you know, strawberry that moved from up there. I could just take these 2, pop them down here, and get rid of this level. This is going to seem stupid, but some of y'all will understand when I say that the blue containers, I like them more than the green containers. So I may end up complicating my life and rearranging the ones from the bottom up to the top and trying to get rid of a green one. I know, it's stupid and it shouldn't matter, but it's what it is. Look at that one. Oh, beautiful. Not having a lot of hope down here for what's left for this oregano. Maybe give it a cut back just a little bit further. If not, it's not a huge deal. I have oregano seed in the house. I have some chamomile. I have a whole bunch of seeds, actually. A whole bunch of radishes I think would be nice to pop into here. And, you know, just some other various things. Look like some mint found its way down to the bottom, which is wonderful. I'm going to pull that out. We are not doing mint on the bottom of this Greenstock. The mint, you have to stay on top of that stuff because it does what mint does, and it will eat your entire Greenstock alive. I had it planted on one row, which I've separated. It's on the ground back over there right now, and it somehow spread throughout this entire thing. What's going on with this bottom row? I'm seeing mint, one chive. That's it. That bottom row can go. The chives are fine outside. I can take that out there. Chives are mostly evergreen here. And what about this row too? The second row? I think I had hopes about the oregano, but I don't really have that much hope anymore for the oregano. I'd say that those are probably done for. I could actually probably pull those bottom 2 off of there. Yeah, I could pull the bottom 2 off. That'll free up a lot of space up here. And heck, I could even bring in a whole nother row. Sorry, I'm seeing that the camera wasn't focusing there. And use it just for seeds. Something to think about. I'm going to hold off on that for a couple of days because it's still fairly chilly today. We're supposed to have a nice warm up here the next few days, and it'll just be more pleasant to have this door open and to be moving this thing in and out and to get some seeds planted. I'm going to need to top these off with some more soil. Really should be putting fresh soil in them. But these are just quick crops, like radishes, and I have some cabbage, which I don't know about I don't know about cabbage in a Greenstock. I might try it, just, you know, for fun, but I don't know. Lettuce, though. I have a bunch of lettuce. I can do some lettuce in there, too. That'll be nice. That'll free up some space. I'm going to sit down for a moment, enjoy my morning bubbles, and plan out the rest of my day. That's not true. I have family in town. I don't have a rest of the day. I mean, I'm going to just have a moment to myself and some quiet to prepare myself for the rest of the day, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited about it. I also got some moss pulls in the mail, so I can add on to what I was doing with that philodendron earlier in the video. There it is. With that heater blowing in the background, huh? So the thing about this is, you know, this is great to be able to add on. Well, if it had fit, being able to add it on, that's not going to work, but that's okay, because it just takes me back to the point. These coconut core poles, they're not moist at all, so it doesn't matter. This philodendron's not going to attach itself to those. I'm not going to keep them moist, so I can just put that stick back in there and tie it up onto that stick, but yeah, that's not going to work. If I hadn't glued this other pole down, then I could probably fit that one into this one. But, well, that's not how this worked out, is it? That's fine. I'll just put the stick back in there and tie it to the stick. It doesn't matter. This springtime, I'm going to cut this because I don't like all that openness and legginess down there. It's my thing with the climbing philodendrons is I don't know. I end up not liking the form. I don't like having a lot of supports around. I see some of y'all do it, and I think it looks really cool when you have the big totems and everything. And I can do that with, like, a plant or two, but I just don't want all these random towers all over the place that I have to have things growing up on. So I do have a tendency whenever I have something like these rubicins or the pink princess here, that when they start to do their climby thing, I tend to just cut them and pop them back down and just start them over. This one, it's been fine. It's doing its thing. It's growing, and it's got some more support now, so it's good. Are you okay? Are you hydrated? I had to water the heck out of this thing yesterday. Every 2 days. Need to get some fresh potting mix so I can get that thing repotted. I need to water. It's been, I don't know, several days since whatever was going on over there. 4 days, I believe. I think we left off over here, and I was like, oh, I need to repot something. I don't know. You know how it is, you've got family in town. Had so much fun. The last family took off last night, so today I'm just, you know, gonna catch up on some things during that couple week period during the holidays. I tend to think, all right, is everything watered? And then I walk around with my insecticidal soap and I'm just, you know, spraying things here and there, but not really all that thorough with everything. So yeah, some things got thirsty. Mostly the basil. It's this darn frickin' basil. I can't not keep this thing hydrated. Everything else is fine. It's just that one. Which means I should go ahead and repot it. I don't necessarily have room on the shelves to repot it. But it's probably time to go ahead and make room on the shelf for it, because I do have plants coming in. What was that? Oh, what was that? Oh, it was just a palm frond. Okay. It was like eating my head. Plants will be coming in the mail. We have had such a mild forecast up until... Well, it's going up until January 15th as far as I can see ahead, and it's very mild for here in January. We all know that that's not going to last long. So I did place a plant order or two. So there will be things coming in the mail, which I had anticipated. That's January energy, right? Where I start to go, okay, some of these things can go back in the house. I just have to clear out the garden window. Right now the garden window is full of lots and lots of Christmas decor. And I think it looks very nice. It's very pretty. But also I'd like to just clear that out and have a place to put my plants and rest my eyes. Oh, that's so much better. I'm blinded. I took my shades down. Actually, I have on sunglasses right now. The sun comes through this window just so intense this time of year, only for a few hours though. I usually leave the shades up until, like, I don't know, March-ish, and the angle of things, really the angle of the earth has shifted and the sun's just in a better position, or until leaves start to flush out on the trees. But I don't know, there's just something came over me. I was like, I want to get it out of here. That's not how my mood normally works during the wintertime with this window. Typically, I'm like, oh, privacy, because you can see everything up there. But really, the trees have done a good amount of growing. So, I don't know, I'm not bothered by it that much. But you would think I would be, since lost, what, a 5-foot section of that magnolia tree? Yeah, but it's better for the plants to go ahead and have this sun that can come through here. Well, I have my amaryllis, which now that Christmas is over, have decided that they want to go ahead and start growing. Thank you so much for your just impeccable timing. It's fine. It's going to look really pretty around Valentine's Day, probably. Well, maybe sooner than that, actually. Things just want more light, right? So I went ahead and opened that up because the days are so much shorter during the wintertime. It is a disadvantage having those shades over these windows during the winter, because, well, since the sun's not out as long. So this is all cleared out. The glitter, it's just a thing. It takes so long to get the glitter out. I did a wipe down. I did another wipe down, and still there's glitter. It's from the fake snow that I put down. I didn't realize when I bought it like 4 years ago that it was covered in glitter, and there's still glitter all over it. I avoid glitter as much as I can, but here it is. Look at all that space. So much room for activities. Oh, that's so nice. Well, I really am looking forward to bringing in some plants. I'm also really just enjoying this openness that's over here. But, I have a couple sansevierias out there. I thought about bringing the blue star fern in. And this is a garden window. It's meant to be filled with plants. So it would be dumb for me to preface all of this as I had with, I need to make room in the house to bring in plants, and then clean the window out and go, oh, well, I don't want to bring in plants, right? I have some things set up over here that I've been waiting to bring inside. Just a couple of sansevierias down here. Got this guy right here, which was the Bartels, I don't know, sensation. Got this guy over the summer and have really enjoyed it. Has a nice shape to it, but it is unruly. It does a lot of that sometimes, and I don't really care for that. So let's just go in and just get rid of that. There we go. That's better. Tuck you back over here where you can knock stuff off with the basil. Oh, I need to check this basil. This is very important. I thought I saw thrips on this yesterday, and I went through and carefully cleaned it off. But you know how thrips are. It's really something you just gotta stay on top of. Yeah. Oh, it sounds gross. With thrips, as soon as I start seeing them, I just go through and I just start smashing them with my fingers. It always has worked for me, but I know that if they start to take over, they can be an absolute nightmare. Luckily, I've never had that be an issue, but I also haven't usually had quite this many. I'm not even sure if they were thrips. I need to go to the eye doctor. I got in pretty close, and they were, the little black rice-looking things. They weren't all that jumpy, though. Whatever they were, they're gone now. Oh, I'm so excited to get these guys up and off the ground. I really don't want too many plants on the ground. It is something that just sort of happens because there's so many plants, but ideally they wouldn't be. All right, are you spider webbing? Or, yeah, that's spider webbing, and it's very pretty too. That's not spider mites. That can stay. I'm not afraid of there being some spiders in the house. I'm all right with that. In fact, there's a really cute jumping spider that I let go into that poinsettia a few weeks ago. He was such a character. It was when I was working on the centerpieces for that vegan Christmas dinner thing that me and Bay were catering, and there was this cute little jumping spider that came off of one of the containers. I had special containers delivered to put those centerpieces in, and he was so stinking cute. Picked him up, took him, I was like, you can hang out over here. You can live in the poinsettia. Sorry, I know some people don't care for mispronunciations. It's a bummer that happened right there, because these really do hold their leaves for a very long time. That foliage lasts so long when you get little blemishes like that. It is unfortunate. Can I turn you? Oh, yeah. That's a good angle. Need to get in there and see if I can get that frickin' Alan Roth sticker off of there. This one I was on the fence about because I think it'll thrive in the grow space. They usually do, but it's such a nice color. It'd be nice to have it in here, but it's so big and bushy. It's just going to take up a lot of space. That's okay. I moved the poinsettia. That can go into the grow space. Try and tuck you more towards the back. And I'll keep my eyes peeled for a pot that I would like for that. I'm going to have to water this guy a lot because it's really filled out that container. And this guy can come outside carefully. They are so messy this time of year. These guys, they're programmed to start dropping their foliage. That's what they do. It's going to want to start dropping its leaves. I'm going to put this over here with this guy so I can remember to get both those repotted. And then you. This is a pretty big plant to put over there, but I think I'm going to try it. Yeah, that looks good. I really like this. Things are open and fresh, and there's plenty of room for more. As y'all know, I'll be putting a lot more in here. I have these little IKEA greenhouses. One of them's already set up, and things are doing pretty well, except for the wire vine. The wire vine didn't do well, but the African violets, they're doing really well in a different window. And that's what I had here before the holidays, but I might just let it stay where it is, because things are doing well in it. And I have a larger IKEA greenhouse that I can set here. So a lot of things are going to be coming in the mail. I say going to be. The things that are going to be coming in the mail, those things are going to be smaller plants, and I will probably put them inside an IKEA like, tabletop greenhouse thing that'll be from like right there to right there. And I'll have to do some rearranging. You know, these, they won't be here forever. I bet they're really enjoying all that light, though. You can tell, I feel like these have put up a good couple inches just since yesterday. Not that you would be able to tell, I didn't film that, but you get it. The hanging basket situation is bugging me, and I would take it off, but it's really nifty to be able to come in here instead of reach down here. I don't know why. For now, it's just going to stay, because that may end up going back out into the grow space, and it would be nice to be able to just hang it up somewhere. Love the Sansevieria right here. This is the Sayuri, Sayuri. Don't know if I'm saying it right. It's my favorite of the trifasciata type Sansevierias. It just has really nice, cool, clean tones to it. And it's a sturdy plant. Now, the Bantel Sensation, which was this one over here, was another one that I had always wanted, but I hadn't tried it, whereas the Sayuri I had tried, and I do still like it, but I don't know. I'm not as crazy about the growth habit on it. That could change, though. Sansevierias, they like to get to the point where they're touching the sides of their pots. When they touch the sides of their pots, they tend to go and stiffen up. Okay, so what have I established? I have established that I need containers and potting soil, right? Probably time to write some things down. Listen, I bought a new copier printer thing for the holidays, and this is what happens when things get late and you have family in town. Stuck my face right on that thing. Works very well. It's a Brother DCL 2470DW, I think. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. It's compact, and it does like the collating, and it's quick. That's my main thing, is it's really fast. Front and back printing, which is what I always prefer, and it's laser, so you can highlight things without them smudging. Why is there a gallon of peanut butter over? Oh, because my sisters, they're all about the baking. They bought giant jugs of peanut butter. What am I going to do with this? 8 carb. That's a bad peanut butter. There's so many ingredients. Yeah, well, the sugar. That's why. Adding all that sugar. Anyways, that's out of the way. So what was I saying? There are what? 2 basils, right? Oh, this is hard to write on. This thing wants to slip all over the place. 2 basils that need pots. The star fern, it's a blue star fern. That needs a repot and potting soil. I have a 3rd basil, but it's doing fine. Should I just go ahead and repot that one too? I'm going to want at least an 8-inch container. Let's see here. Let's just check this out. If I can. Alright, we'll just drag it over here. I'm trying to not make awful scratchy sounds on the countertop. That is a 6-inch container, but I think it's just a bit over 6 inches. Gosh, this basil smells so freaking good. Yeah, just over 6 inches. I think going up to 8 would be good. Right? We wouldn't want to do too much more than that this time of year. I think that could be risky. And could have the counter space too for these things. I may end up bringing all of the basils in here. Who knows? Because they're growing so well out there. And then, oh, pardon my sink. It's not that clean. Well, the sink's pretty clean, but the rags are pretty dang gross. And then I need soil for the Greenstock because it's a little bit low. I feel like I 100% could have memorized that. That's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Thought there was a lot more that I needed to do. That's just a few plants. That's pretty simple. All right, now what can I pull out of here? I know I'd like to pull this aloe out. I probably shouldn't be messing around in here too much when these plants are so thirsty. Maybe, I really feel like this is not a great idea because it's so thirsty. I don't like messing with plants that are this thirsty, but for right now, I'm just going to hang out right there because I need it to be out of the way so I can get back here and reach this aloe. So these aloes, these are the ones from Southern Living, and they, according to y'all, have informed me that these really do not want water during the wintertime, which is, I mean, it's pretty normal aloe information there. So I'm just going to set that over here next to my other aloe. This is just, it's the corner of succulent neglect. It's not really neglect. They like it that way. So that's where those are staying, and that frees up a huge chunk of space. Look, the Cebu Pothos from the other side has worked its way over here. Okay, well that's fine. And then I can move this Zebrina, which is right here, over to the back. And now I can finally get to this orchid that got a little bit strangled back there. This is just a random Oncidium somebody gave me. Yeah, so things do need to be arranged by height. All right. Baby raspberry chocolate. It did have a nice fragrance to it. This needs a new pot. And it needs to be cleaned up. I'm going to set that down there. It will end up back on this shelf. And then, yeah, okay. So this is something that I was doing once a month, and it looks like I need to start doing it every, probably week. Pulling the big plants out so I can get in and get to the others, because that's where the pests come from, right? But I'm always saying the devil lives inside all those nooks and crannies. There we go. Get in there. Give this guy a good spritz. Up and down. All around that stem. Gotta be heavy with the water pressure. And try and get down inside all the splits. Probably do it with the rest of these too. Ooh, that would have been something that would have been smarter to do after I was done watering out here. Oops, didn't think about that. Is that as far as I can zoom out? Yep, okay, well, sorry guys. I'll be able to give you more of a wide angle there. The Frydek Alocasia. Doing fine. The pests really don't seem to care about that one. They've never been much of an issue. I don't know if you can even see what I was talking about. There's the Frydek right there. Never has many pests on it. Monsteras are doing fine. This Oncidium is doing well. Oncidium. It's an orchid, if you don't know. Great orchid. Trying to remember to rotate it. And that I need to be more careful about getting water on its foliage, because these Oncidiums, this one right here is called Cherry Baby, they are very prone to getting these black spots on them, and that mostly happens from, well, having water sitting on the foliage. Typically, you know, some kind of tap water or cold water, that's when problems arise. Okay, that's a dormant plant. That does not need to be on the shelf. I could just rot away. Not careful there. Scoot you over here. There we go. Oh, look, oh, so much room. Now, that room is about to be used for, well, the basils. They're getting repotted. They're going to be moved up into this spot. And then, like I said, I have some more plants coming in the mail that they'll be spread around. A lot of the ones that come in the mail are actually going to be plants that hang. But still, it's nice to know that I've opened this up. I need to take this basil, get it back up here, and go grab that hose and give it a good drink. Okay. Go. Come over here. Alright. Nice big drinks here. I'm letting the table stay flooded so everything can have some time to soak up all that water. Avoiding the foliage because I sprayed, and normally I spray after, and I will come in and I'll do some more spraying after. Try to be mindful of the foliage there on that Oncidium orchid. I think it's so funny. The Phalaenopsis orchids, which you would think would just rot from having pond water sprayed on them, they don't care. They freaking thrive. I mean, look at this one. Other than the mealybugs, it loves the pond water, right? So it surprised me that the Oncidium is such a brat about it, but, you know, that's okay. We know what it wants, so you just have to be really careful and make sure to not get too much water on the foliage. That's easy enough to do. All right, I'm going to finish watering in here. Just about everything needs a small drink. And then need to go out to the greenhouse, because with this warmer forecast that we're having right now, the temperatures out there have just been, it's getting too hot. And I want to get a new thermostat installed on one of those heaters so that I can hopefully work with it from my phone. I can't remember if the heater I got is Wi-Fi controlled or not. I don't know. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. Oh, hey, look at that! Showed up late to the game, but I'm glad it's here. This is the Alocasia Golden Bone. It's either Golden Bone or Golden Dragon. Cannot remember which one it is. But it was making me think that it was just going to die over the last, I don't know, couple months since I brought it in. Finally, getting something out of this guy. And that's not that unusual. A lot of the times with alocasias that I bring inside, they do tend to sit still, at least some of them do, for a couple of months. And then they'll just go, oh, okay, I'm alive. And I do think a lot of that just has to do with the amount of damage that gets done to the roots when they're pulled up, and just their parentage too. So this one looks like it has some Portora in its parentage, which is a really sturdy alocasia, and lutea, which is also a very sturdy alocasia, but I don't know, maybe just combine those two, it's not as tough. I tried a different container too. It's a root training container, so that could have something to do with it. I don't know. I'm just glad that it's putting up a leaf. I was about to say, forget about it, this thing's dead, but clearly it's not. Okay, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna finish watering. We'll go outside and see what's going on in the greenhouse. How's that spear looking? Still moving. That's good. I sprayed some fungicide down in here. It's a good thing to do. If you have the days that are over 50-ish, I mean, go ahead and just do it if you have to. But you want it to be above freezing. Okay, and it shouldn't be too warm in here, because yesterday I shut the heaters off, but you know, it's like 55, 60 degrees outside, and this is a greenhouse. It's toasty, nowhere near as warm as yesterday. You're a lot of dog. You're a lot of dog for this space. I'm gonna have to start folding this chair up. It just puddles with water. It's always dripping in here. Lots of humidity. All right, oh, he's done already. He's feeling much better, by the way. It was just a boo-boo. Don't know what happened. Good to know about the hip dysplasia, though. Glad we caught that. He was checked for it when he was a puppy, but you know, sometimes it just takes longer to show up. So this is the thermostat I'm using out here. An Inkbird. Good brand. I've used them for a lot of other things. Use them for my humidifier. Use them for the heaters in my aquariums. I like it because the one I have on my fish tank, I'm pretty sure it's an Inkbird, has two separate probes, so I can have one down the sump of the tank and one up in the top of the tank, and it'll let me know if there's too much of a variance between the two, because I keep the heater down below, but sometimes that's not enough to warm the water in the tank. That's the whole thing. The only thing, I don't know if it's going to be like this, but the only thing that I'm not crazy about with these is I do remember the setup being just not all that simple, which is okay. It's just so many things these days they've really dumbed down and made easy for us. Whereas with this, I remember at least with the humidifier one, the humidistat, I was a little unclear about what I was doing. But, you know me, I probably didn't read the directions. So I will read the directions for this. And I got them set up to that heater right there. This heater I can adjust and I can set a temperature on it. That one I cannot. Now I would switch out the different heater, but it heats very well. So I'd like to keep using it. Just not all the time. Doesn't need to be running all the time. Does not need to be 85 degrees in here. These are champagne problems. Last year I struggled to keep this thing at 35. And here we are, moving into January, well into January by the time this video comes out, and toasty. Okay, I think I have this set up right. It's not flashing in person. That's just, you know, how LEDs do on camera. Right now, PV means some, I don't see it. What does PV mean? I'm pretty sure that's just the current temperature. Anyways, I have it set to 65 degrees. So as long as it's 65 degrees or more in here, that's not going to run. And then you can set a differential. I made my differential about 10 degrees. So as long as it's, what is it going to do? Oh, when it drops down to, no. This is where it gets confusing. You have all of these options right here, and they all work and play together, so it's a bit of a mind game. When the measured temperature is above your set temperature by at least the cooling differential, which I set to 10 degrees, the system enters a refrigeration status. The cool light will turn on, the power is provided to the cooling outlet. So that's something I didn't mention. One of the reasons I like this is because it has another outlet right here you can put a fan on, or some kind of refrigeration, whatever you're using. The cool indicator light turns on, power is provided, cooling outlet. Right, I already read that. When the measured temperature reaches your set temperature, the cool indicator light turns off, the refrigeration shuts off. So I think I'm going to raise my cooling differential up higher, even though I don't even have a fan hooked into this, but I might. Okay, so I don't need to worry about it. If I do hook a fan into this, I'm going to raise my cooling differential to, like, I don't know, 15 degrees. So if it hits 80 in here, then a fan will kick on. For example, with a temperature set of 25 degrees Celsius and a cooling differential of 2 degrees Celsius and an HD, which is a heating differential value of 3 degrees Celsius, when measured temperature is above or equal to 27 degrees Celsius, which is 2 degrees higher than the temperature set, the system enters the refrigeration status, right? So it's going to try and cool things back down to 25 Celsius. When temperature drops to 25 Celsius, refrigeration stops. And when a measured temperature is lowered or equal to 22 degrees Celsius, so that is 3 degrees less than 25, that's the heating differential, the system enters heating status. When the temperature increases to 25 degrees, heating stops. I don't, like, we couldn't just set a temperature and be like, hey, try and keep it around here, but I guess because that would be a lot of on-off, on-off, on-off with the products, right? So what do I have my heating differential set to? I need to come in here and check that out. I actually, no, that's not, why does it say cooling? Oh, because right now it's in cooling mode, okay. My heating differential is set to 10 degrees. I'll go ahead and raise the cooling differential up by about 15, and then got to go all the way back around here to that heating differential. And I'm going to raise that to 15 also, because that's basically saying what's the minimum temperature that it can drop to before I'm worried about heat in here. And for me, I think that'd be about 45. Actually, let's go ahead and do a little, make it a little bit better there. So at 50 degrees, the heater will turn on. Right? I'm actually not that comfortable with that. I think right now we can do better than that and try and keep temperatures more steady. So, oh, that didn't save. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'm fine with the 10 degrees. That's right, you have to hold this down for 10 seconds to save what you've done. But the cooling differential, yeah, I think we were going to do 15 on that. And then I'll raise that heating differential by 15. Just that way the heaters aren't turning on and off as much. There we go. All right, so when it drops to between 50 and 65 in here, the heater will kick on. I think that that's good. And I like for there to be a drop in daytime and nighttime. So for right now, that's fine. When it does start to get really cold outside, this will probably just be running all the time. It is just abnormally above average here. Looking at that forecast, goes all the way until January 15th. I'm not going to have to take that windmill palm in, and usually it's in by January 1st. The only downside to this nice weather is that sometimes when we have a really mild January, it means that we have a very, very, very long and cold spring. Who knows? The weather has become so unpredictable. I don't even think about that right now. Main thing is that things are up and running in here, functional. The plants seem happy. I do not want it to keep being as warm as it has been, though, because I'm having to water a lot, and that's a pain in the butt out here. Keep things at a cooler temperature. You don't need to water anywhere near as often. And to water in here, I have to attach a hose to the mud sink in my house and drag it all the way outside. It's such a pain because all the water's disconnected. I have had half a mind. I've been thinking about going through just hooking the water back up because it's possible that it could be fine with the water hooked up for the rest of the month. I don't even know. But I probably won't do that because the groundwater is still very, very cold from that cold snap we had back in November where we were dropping into the single digits. Like, that's all it took to really cool the ground down. I don't think the ground's quite frozen yet, which is nice. I can still do some planting if I wanted to. But the groundwater, it's not very warm, and that's a shock to the plants. So at least the nice thing about running it from the house is I have hot and cold water. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. That's done. So I was thinking this was one of the Wi-Fi versions, and it is not. So that does change things. I do wish that I had ordered one that had the Wi-Fi on it so that I can just access it from my app. But, I mean, the whole point here is that you can kind of set it and forget it. So I'm going to need to find a hook and some string and get this place up somewhere more appropriately. I don't want this sitting down on the ground. For right now, I'm not going to let it sit right here and have to be very careful when I come in here to water. And, I mean, ideally, I've just been, on 2 occasions out of the 4 times I've watered, I've remembered to, like, just unplug the heaters and take them out while I'm watering. These are really good. They have really good safety features on them. Water gets on them, and, you know, typically I've been okay, but I avoid it as much as possible because that's extremely dangerous, right? I say water gets on, I mean, like, some droplets might land on the surface of it. They aren't getting saturated with water or anything like that. But it would still be better to just remember, and this might be a good way to help myself remember that I just need to grab it and pull it out and unplug it when I water in here. I would love to do more of these Greenstocks. It's so nice out, but I'm going to have to run to the store and get some soil, which will be a challenge because nobody sells potting soil this time of year. And they do, but it's smaller bags, and those smaller bags cost a lot more, and it's just like Miracle-Gro. And, you know, I used to be all about the Miracle-Gro, but this last year I stopped using it because the bag just smelled like wood. And the first ingredient on the bag is, you know, forest product. And that's just a broad term that they can use to basically say wood. And that shouldn't be. Like, there can be a little bit of wood in a mix. I don't mind that so much, but it's got to be down on that ingredient list, right? It shouldn't be up at the top. The nicer soils come from the nurseries, and most of the nurseries are closed this time of year, and they do have soil, the ones that are open, but they keep it outdoors. And when you keep the soil outdoors, it just, I don't like the quality of it as much. So I'll just be topping off with whatever I can find, which will probably be Miracle-Gro, and I'll add in some compost, and, you know, we'll go over all that. I suppose next week, start getting some seeds planted up in here, and maybe get one of those greenhouses set up to put all the little plants in and get that window looking pretty good. I already think it looks pretty nice, actually. I do think it wouldn't be a bad idea to get some seeds going in there, just because, not seeds. Well, yeah, I want to get seeds going, but a fan. Circulation is so nice for the plants, helps keep them sturdy. But we're just running out of room here. I meant for this to be a very simple operation. We have 2 heaters, a thermostat, 2 water features. It's becoming a bit much. That's how I do things. Look how good this magnolia is still looking. That's impressive. This is the piece that got broken off of the magnolia over there that I was talking about earlier. And it had, what's this? Probably about a 5-foot section. Ripped right off of it. That happens. 7-degree winds. That'll do that. I said 70. It's not like 7. I meant 70. This said degree. That wasn't right either. Miles per hour. Yep, that's how you know it's time to go. I'm interested to see what the bulbs do in the greenhouse. They pretty much halted their growth out here, which is to be expected. But I think the ones in the greenhouse will probably start to do something here pretty soon. Hi, kitten. How you doing, Floof? Oh, you're on the mood for camera time. I'm sorry. I don't know what the deal is. Why are you being silly? You're okay. He's a skittish little thing. Amaryllis are looking pretty good. You guys need water? Yeah, probably. I'm not a fan of these white ones. Flowers were very short-lived on them. I think the contraption they're in, it's like this plastic ball thing. It's time to go. Have my list. Going to go to the store, get potting soil, and I'm going to try and round up some containers for the basils and a few other things and get going on that next week. Maybe I'll take y'all with me to the store. It just depends on my mood. Hey, hope everybody had a good New Year. By the way, it's the New Year for me, and well, it will be for you too. It'll be well into the New Year. It's just January 2nd here. Hope y'all are doing well, having a great day, great life, and it's just going absolutely beautifully for you. And of course, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.